The sound of glasses clinking and laughter filled the air. Mark sat at the head of the table, surrounded by colleagues and clients, enjoying the lavish dinner that marked the closing of another successful business deal. The restaurant's opulence, with its crystal chandeliers and fine linen, was a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing in his personal life. Across the ocean, in a dimly lit apartment, Sarah held the pen tightly in her hand. The divorce papers lay before her, a symbol of the end of their marriage. She sighed deeply, her thoughts drifting to the countless nights she spent alone while Mark traveled for work. The promises of "I'll make it up to you" and "I miss you" felt hollow now, like echoes in an empty room. Earlier that day, she had packed her belongings and moved out. The apartment, once filled with memories of laughter and love, now seemed like a ghost town. The silence was deafening. Her phone buzzed, a message from Mark: "I miss you, let's talk tomorrow." Sarah stared at the screen, her heart heavy with a mix of sadness and resolve. He didn't know she had already taken the step to move on. His words, once comforting, now felt like empty reassurances. She signed the papers, her hand steady and sure. It was a moment of closure, a release from the weight she had carried for too long. She sent the documents to her lawyer and took one last look around the apartment. The memories would always be there, but she was ready to create new ones, on her own terms. As Mark raised his glass for a toast, he couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. The thought of Sarah waiting for him back home brought a fleeting sense of comfort. Little did he know, their paths had diverged, and the next time he would return, he'd find an empty home. Sarah stepped out into the night, the cool air filling her lungs with a sense of newfound freedom. She was ready to embrace the unknown, to start a new chapter in her life. The last dinner had been served, and it was time for her to write her own story. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Sarah found solace in her new life, surrounded by friends and new experiences that filled the void Mark had left. She pursued her passions, explored new hobbies, and gradually pieced together the fragments of her heart. Meanwhile, Mark's business trips continued, but the thrill of success started to wane. The luxurious dinners and high-stakes deals couldn't mask the growing emptiness he felt. He tried calling Sarah, but his calls went unanswered. The realization that she had moved on hit him harder than he expected. One evening, Mark returned home to find the apartment eerily quiet. The familiar warmth was gone, replaced by the cold, sterile environment that echoed his loneliness. He wandered from room to room, the silence amplifying his sense of loss. In the bedroom, he found a letter on the nightstand. It was from Sarah, her handwriting neat and precise. "Dear Mark, by the time you read this, I will have already started a new chapter in my life. Our marriage, once a source of joy and companionship, became a reminder of what we lost. I wish things had been different, but I've come to realize that holding on to something that no longer brings happiness is a disservice to both of us. I've moved out and signed the divorce papers. This decision wasn't made lightly, but it's one I needed to make for my own well-being. I hope you find peace and fulfillment in your journey, just as I am seeking mine. Take care, Sarah." Mark sat down, the letter trembling in his hands. He read it over and over, the finality of her words sinking in. The life they had built together was gone, replaced by the stark reality of their separate paths. In the weeks that followed, Mark tried to reconcile with Sarah, to find a way back to what they once had. But she had already moved on, her heart no longer tethered to the past. She wished him well, but her resolve remained firm. Sarah's journey was one of rediscovery and growth. She learned to embrace her independence, finding strength in the love she had for herself. Mark, too, began to reflect on his choices, seeking to understand where things had gone wrong. In the end, both Sarah and Mark found their own versions of happiness. Their story, marked by departure and deception, became a lesson in the importance of honesty, communication, and the courage to move on when the time is right. As the months turned into years, Sarah's life blossomed in ways she had never imagined. She discovered a love for painting, pouring her emotions onto the canvas, and found herself exhibiting her work at local galleries. Her newfound independence gave her a sense of empowerment and fulfillment that she hadn't felt in a long time. Mark, on the other hand, struggled with the void left by Sarah's absence. He threw himself into his work, trying to fill the emptiness with professional success. But the lavish dinners and business deals no longer held the same allure. He missed the simple moments he once shared with Sarah, the quiet evenings and the warmth of her presence. One evening, as Sarah was preparing for her first solo exhibition, she received a call from an unknown number. Hesitant, she answered, only to hear Mark's familiar voice on the other end. "Sarah, it's me. I know it's been a long time, but I needed to hear your voice," Mark said, his tone filled with regret. Sarah took a deep breath, memories of their past flooding her mind. "Mark, it's been years. Why are you calling now? I've realized how much I've lost. I know I can't change the past, but I wanted to apologize for everything," he replied, his voice trembling. Sarah felt a pang of sadness, but also a sense of closure. "Mark, I appreciate your apology, but I've moved on. I've found happiness in my own way, and I hope you can too." "I understand," Mark said, his voice heavy with resignation. "I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry." As they ended the call, Sarah felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She had found peace with her past, and now she was ready to fully embrace her future. At her exhibition, Sarah's artwork was met with praise and admiration. Her paintings, filled with vibrant colors and deep emotions, resonated with many who viewed them. She had transformed her pain into beauty, and in doing so, she had found her true self. Mark, too, began to find a new path. He started volunteering at a local community center, finding solace in helping others. It was a small step, but it brought him a sense of purpose that he had been missing. Years later, Sarah and Mark's paths crossed again at a charity event. They exchanged polite smiles, acknowledging the shared past without lingering on it. They had both grown and changed, and their lives had taken different directions. As the event concluded, Sarah felt a sense of satisfaction. She had come a long way from the woman who signed the divorce papers in that dimly lit apartment. She had rebuilt her life, found her passion, and most importantly, discovered the strength within herself. Mark, watching Sarah from a distance, felt a mix of emotions. He was happy for her, but also introspective about his own journey. He knew he had made mistakes, but he also recognized the importance of moving forward. And so, both Sarah and Mark continued their separate journeys, forever changed by their shared past. Their story, once filled with departure and deception, had become one of growth, healing, and the resilience of the human spirit. Over time, Sarah's art gained recognition, and she found herself invited to exhibitions in cities around the world. She traveled to Paris, New York, and Tokyo, each place offering new inspirations and experiences. Her art became a reflection of her journey, filled with vibrant colors, intricate details, and a profound sense of emotion. One evening, in a quaint Parisian café, Sarah met Julien, a fellow artist. They bonded over their love for art and shared stories of their past. Julien's warm demeanor and genuine interest in her work reignited a spark within her. Their friendship grew, and soon it blossomed into a deep and meaningful relationship. Mark, meanwhile, had made significant changes in his life. Volunteering at the community center brought him joy and a sense of purpose. He also reconnected with old friends and started to rebuild his social life. The lessons from his past marriage stayed with him, guiding him to be more present and empathetic in his interactions. One day, while attending a charity gala, Mark met Emily, a schoolteacher with a passion for helping children. Her kind heart and dedication to her students impressed him. They began dating, and Mark found a renewed sense of hope and happiness in their relationship. As the years passed, both Sarah and Mark continued to grow and evolve. Their lives, once intertwined, had taken separate yet fulfilling paths. They occasionally thought of each other, not with regret, but with a sense of gratitude for the lessons they had learned. Sarah's art career reached new heights, and she and Julien eventually married in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. Their life together was filled with love, creativity, and mutual support. Mark and Emily also built a happy life together. They supported each other's passions and dreams, and their relationship thrived on communication and understanding. Mark found peace in knowing that he had grown from his past mistakes and had become a better person. Years later, Sarah and Mark crossed paths once more at an art exhibition in New York. Sarah's paintings adorned the gallery walls, each piece telling a story of resilience and rebirth. Mark, attending with Emily, admired the artwork and felt a sense of pride for Sarah's accomplishments. They exchanged polite smiles and brief pleasantries, both acknowledging the journey they had taken. Their encounter was brief, but it was a reminder of how far they had come. Sarah and Mark's story, once filled with heartbreak and separation, had transformed into a tale of growth, healing, and new beginnings. They had found happiness in their own ways, and their paths, though separate, had led them to places of fulfillment and contentment. As the exhibition concluded, Sarah and Julien walked hand in hand through the streets of New York, while Mark and Emily did the same. Their lives had taken different directions, but both had found what they were looking for, a sense of peace and a future filled with promise. Sarah's paintings continued to captivate audiences around the world. She and Julien had built a life full of creativity, passion, and mutual respect. Their home, filled with art supplies and canvases, was a sanctuary of inspiration and love. They often collaborated on projects, their styles blending harmoniously to create breathtaking works of art. Mark and Emily, too, flourished in their lives together. They traveled, volunteered, and enjoyed the simple pleasures of life. Mark had found a renewed sense of purpose, and Emily's unwavering support helped him grow into a more empathetic and thoughtful person. One day, Sarah received an invitation to a prestigious art festival in Rome. It was an honor, and she was thrilled to showcase her work on such a grand stage. Julian accompanied her, and they spent their days exploring the city's rich history and vibrant culture. At the festival, Sarah's exhibit drew large crowds. Her paintings, infused with emotion and storytelling, resonated deeply with those who viewed them. Among the visitors was a renowned art critic who praised her work, calling it a profound exploration of the human spirit. Mark read about Sarah's success in an art magazine and felt a sense of pride for her achievements. He knew that their shared past had shaped them both, and he was genuinely happy for her. Years later, Sarah and Julian welcomed their first child, a beautiful daughter they named Amelia. She brought immense joy into their lives, and they cherished every moment as a family. They encouraged Amelia's creativity, providing her with an environment where she could explore her passions. Mark and Emily, too, found joy in their growing family. They adopted 2 children, offering them a loving and supportive home. Their family became a source of happiness and fulfillment, and they embraced the adventures of parenthood with open hearts. Functions. They greeted each other with warmth and respect, acknowledging the journeys they had taken. Their lives, once intertwined, had diverged and flourished in their own unique ways. Sarah often reflected on the path that led her to where she was. She had transformed her pain into strength, her struggles into triumphs. Her art, a reflection of her journey, continued to inspire and touch the lives of many. Mark, too, had found peace and contentment. The lessons from his past had shaped him into a better person, and he was grateful for the love and support of his family. He had learned the importance of empathy, communication, and the courage to move forward. In the end, Sarah and Mark's story was one of growth, resilience, and new beginnings. Their separate journeys had led them to places of fulfillment and happiness, each finding their own path in the tapestry of life. The last dinner, a symbol of departure and deception, had become a distant memory, replaced by the vibrant and hopeful chapters they had written for themselves. As Amelia grew, Sarah and Julian nurtured her creative spirit. She inherited her mother's talent for painting and her father's passion for storytelling. Their home was a haven of artistic expression, filled with laughter, love, and endless creativity. Amelia's childhood was a tapestry of vibrant colors, inspiring her to dream big and chase her passions. Mark and Emily's family thrived as well. Their children, Emma and Liam, brought joy and purpose into their lives. Emily's dedication to teaching and Mark's commitment to volunteering created a nurturing environment where their children flourished. They instilled in them the values of empathy, kindness, and resilience. Sarah's art career continued to soar. Her exhibitions attracted global attention, and her work became a symbol of strength and transformation. She was invited to speak at conferences and workshops, sharing her journey and inspiring others to find their own paths to healing and self-discovery. One summer, while attending an international art festival in Barcelona, Sarah met an old friend from her early days as an artist. They reminisced about the past and marveled at how far they had come. It was a reminder of the importance of perseverance and the power of art to heal and connect people. Mark's work at the community center expanded, and he eventually took on a leadership role, organizing events and outreach programs. He found fulfillment in helping others and making a positive impact on his community. Emily's school also thrived, thanks to her unwavering dedication to her students. Years later, at a charity auction in London, Sarah's painting was the centerpiece of the event. The artwork, titled Resilience, depicted a phoenix rising from the ashes, symbolizing rebirth and renewal. It was a deeply personal piece, capturing the essence of her journey. Mark and Emily attended the auction, eager to support the cause. As they admired the painting, Mark felt a profound sense of connection to the artwork. It resonated with his own journey of transformation and growth. When the auctioneer began taking bids, Mark raised his paddle. The room fell silent as the bidding intensified. In the end, Mark won the painting, a symbol of his own resilience and the journey he had undertaken. After the auction, Sarah and Mark exchanged warm greetings. They spoke briefly about their lives, each expressing genuine happiness for the other's success and fulfillment. The painting, now hanging in Mark and Emily's home, served as a constant reminder of the strength and courage it took to rebuild their lives. Sarah, Julian, and Amelia continued to thrive, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Their home was a sanctuary of love and creativity, a testament to the power of family and the beauty of self-expression. Mark and Emily's family also flourished. Emma and Liam grew into compassionate and driven individuals, inspired by their parents' dedication to helping others. Their home was filled with love, laughter, and a sense of purpose. In the end, Sarah and Mark's story was one of resilience, growth, and the beauty of new beginnings. Their separate journeys had led them to places of fulfillment and happiness, each finding their own path in the tapestry of life. The last dinner, a symbol of departure and deception, had become a distant memory, replaced by vibrant and hopeful chapters they had written for themselves. Years later, Sarah and Mark's lives had come full circle. Both had built fulfilling lives filled with love, creativity, and purpose. Their journeys, though separate, had been shaped by the lessons they had learned and the growth they had experienced. Sarah's art continued to inspire and captivate audiences worldwide. Her exhibitions were celebrated, and her paintings spoke to the resilience and beauty of the human spirit. Julian and Amelia were her greatest supporters, and their love formed the foundation of her success. Mark's work at the community center blossomed into a career dedicated to social impact. He and Emily created programs that enriched their community, and their family thrived in an environment of compassion and support. Emma and Liam grew into kind and driven young adults, inspired by their parents' dedication to helping others. One evening, as Sarah and Julian prepared for another exhibition, Sarah received an unexpected message. It was from Mark, congratulating her on her latest achievement and expressing his admiration for her work. He also mentioned that the painting he had won at the charity auction, Resilience, remained a centerpiece in their home, a symbol of strength and transformation. Sarah smiled as she read the message, feeling a sense of closure and peace. She replied with gratitude, wishing Mark and Emily continued happiness and success. It was a brief exchange, but it held a profound sense of mutual respect and acknowledgement of the journeys they had taken. As Sarah stood before her latest painting, she reflected on her path. The last dinner, once a painful memory of departure and deception, had become a catalyst for her growth and self-discovery. Her art, a testament to her resilience, had touched the lives of many and brought her fulfillment beyond her wildest dreams. Mark, too, found solace in the journey he had undertaken. His relationship with Emily and his work at the community center brought him a deep sense of purpose and happiness. The lessons from his past had made him a better person, and he was grateful for the life he had built. In the end, Sarah and Mark's story was one of resilience, growth, and the power of new beginnings. Their separate journeys, filled with challenges and triumphs, had led them to places of fulfillment and contentment. The last dinner, once a symbol of departure and deception, had become a distant memory, replaced by the vibrant and hopeful chapters they had written for themselves. As Sarah and Julian walked hand in hand through their exhibition, and Mark and Emily shared a quiet evening at home, they both knew that their journeys had led them exactly where they were meant to be. Their lives, once intertwined, had diverged and flourished in their own unique ways, each finding happiness and fulfillment in the tapestry of life.